Hi, this is Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Today we're making this gorgeous web-a-ween shawl. You can wear it over both shoulders coming towards the front or both shoulders going towards the back. Or of course you can wrap up in it and get really nice and cozy. And it's also intricate enough to just wear over one shoulder to dress up any of those outfits, and also just casual enough to wear with jeans. If English isn't your first language, you can click this gear on the video and scroll through to find your preferred dialect. This pattern is a super easy to remember 8-row repeat, so it gives you just enough thinking to keep yourself interested, and it works up in sets of 8 rows super fast because most of these rows are chains. So you're just chaining and skipping. All of this space we are not crocheting really at all, just chaining and skipping. So it goes super quickly, and it is really fun because you get to finish a full set of webs or spiders and then move on to the next row. I used Savor from Ice Yarns. So this is 200 grams, 330 meters. It is 100% Draylon acrylic. You could use any yarn you have on hand at all. This is a 4-weight worsted acrylic yarn. I used about 500 grams for mine, or just think 100 grams per set of webs or spiders, and you could even do 4 rows if you wanted to just use 1 pack of yarn from Ice Yarns. So for my size, I needed 3 skeins of this, 500 grams, so 2.5 skeins. I also used a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook. You will need a pair of scissors and a needle for sewing in your ends. And if you want to follow along with written pattern, all of my patterns are available on my website, secretyarnery.com, and you don't have to worry about being able to read a pattern. All of my patterns are written in plain English, just like I was sitting there right beside you. Here are the timestamps. You can jump back into where you left off, and let's get started. To make your web-a-ween shawl, go ahead and get your stitch markers, so 14 stitch markers, and your crochet hook, and your yarn. For the tutorial, I'm going to be using this orange color just because you can't probably see the stitches so great if I use black. So we're just going to start by making a slip knot any which way you normally do, and pop that onto your hook. And we're going to chain sets of 15. The multiple is 15 plus 4. So if you want to make yours a different size, sets of 15 plus 4 at the very end. So we're going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 14, and 15. And I'm just going to roll that chain to the side. We want to be looking for those camel bumps or those back loops. Grab one of your stitch markers and just pop it right into that back loop, the one right underneath your hook, right there. So pop in a stitch marker and chain 15 more. 1, 2, 3. Are you enjoying this tutorial? Go ahead and hit this button under this video right now so you don't miss out on any more quick and easy fun tutorials just like this. 14 and 15. Roll your chain to the side again, looking for those camel bumps or those back loops along the back of your chain, and pop a stitch marker into that back loop that we just made. So now you can pause the video and keep working on your chain, doing sets of 15 and popping in a stitch marker until all 14 stitch markers are used up, or you have chained 210. For this tutorial, I'm just going to be doing a shorter sample. So when your chain is the length you want it to be, go ahead and chain 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to go into the 4th chain we made. Now roll your chain to the side. We want to be going into the 4th chain, the 4th back loop, which is the one right on top of our stitch marker. So not the chain where our stitch marker is, but this back loop right in front of it, right there. We want to be working into our back loops just so the bottom of our shawl matches the top of our shawl, or our first row matches your last row. So now into that 4th chain from your hook, or that 4th back loop, we're going to do 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet into each chain all the way along into those back loops. If working into your back loop is hard, you can just work into your chain, but your finished product won't look as great. So just take your time. I even just slide those back loops on with my finger and make 1 double crochet into each chain all the way along. You could do a chainless foundation, but for shawls, I do like to do a chain and then work into the chain, just because that chain will stop that stretch. So one side of your shawl won't stretch out for sure. But that's up to you. So you can pause the video, keep working along. 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way along. I also leave my stitch markers in because if I need to change my stitch count in the future, I'll know how many chains I did, so I just leave those in. But you can take them out if they get in your way. So pause the video, keep working along. I'll meet you when you get to the end of your chain. At the end of your row, our very last chain is right on top of our slip knot. So we just want to go into that very last back loop to make our last double crochet. So this was the slowest part of the whole shawl. Now we are ready to start speeding along. So that finishes row 1. To start row 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to turn our work, but the easiest way to turn your work, we're going to be working into our chains for this entire pattern, is just to slide your hand under your working yarn and turn your work that way. When you come back to that chain, it'll be easy to work into. So we're going to skip our first stitch. Our chain counts as our first double crochet. So this stitch already has a double crochet, our chain. We're going to start in our second stitch right here. I'm going to do this for the whole pattern. So we're always going to be chaining 3, and we're always going to be doing a double crochet into the second stitch. So wrap your yarn and into that second stitch, 1 double crochet, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to skip 3 stitches, and our stitches are these little dimples right here. So there is 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into number 4, getting both strands of that stitch on the top of our hook. So wrap your yarn twice. We're going to do treble crochets in US terms. So into that 4th stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, skipping a stitch, so we're going to skip this guy right here and go into number 2, or the second stitch right there. 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, skipping a stitch and into the second, 1 treble crochet. We're going to do this a total of 4 times. So there's 3, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, skipping a stitch and into the second, 1 treble crochet. There is our treble crochet, and there is our 4 treble crochets. So that's our set of 4. Now chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, working into number 4, which is just after our stitch marker, right there. Wrap your yarn once and into the 4th stitch, 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So that is our repeat. That's what we're going to be doing all the way along our shawl. So now we're going to start again with our chain 3. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skipping 3, 1, 2, 3, working into number 4 with a treble crochet. So wrap your yarn twice and into the 4th stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, skipping a stitch and into the second, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, skip 1 into the second, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, skipping 1, and into the second 1 treble crochet. So now just check that you have your 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are ready to do our little bridge. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, which is also our last real double crochet of the row, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And also 1 double crochet into the top of our chain. So we're just going to go in 2 strands on the top of your hook. However you get 2 strands, totally fine. You want 2 strands on the top of your hook. And make your last double crochet into the chain. We're going to be starting and finishing every row the same way. No matter what we're doing for the row, beginning and ending is the same. So that finishes row 2. We were just building our pyramids. Now we are ready to start row 3. To start row 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. And into the second stitch, or this double crochet right there. So we're always skipping our first stitch because our chain counts as our first double crochet. We're going to be working into the second stitch right there. So wrap your yarn, make 1 double crochet into the second stitch, and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now into our treble crochet. That's that spot right there. We are going to do 1 double crochet. And 1 double crochet into each treble crochet. So no chaining, just 1 double crochet into each treble. We're really cinching it together now. So there'll be a total of 4 double crochets going into our 4 treble crochets. Just like that. So that's the top of our pyramid. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we are into our little dividers here. So into our dividers, these double crochets, they always get a double crochet. So 2 double crochets, 1 into each stitch. There's 1 and 2. So that is what we're doing. See how fast it's going now? So quick. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet into each treble crochet. So wrap your yarn, and into that first treble crochet, we're going to do a double. Wrap your yarn into the next treble crochet. We're going to do a double crochet. So we're just going to do our 4 double crochets, 1 into each of the treble crochets in the row below. There's our last one, so our last double crochet. Just like that. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now into our last double crochet and into our chain, 1 double crochet into each. Always ending the same way, always starting the same way. So into the top of your chain. And see how your chain is waiting for you now because we turned our work in that direction. So just pop your hook in, 2 strands on your hook, and make your last double crochet into the chain. And that finishes row 3. To start row 4, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work into our second stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into each of our double crochets we're going to do a single crochet. So we did trebles, doubles, now we're doing singles. So into that first stitch, that first double crochet, 1 single crochet. We're doing like the body of the spider. And 1 single crochet into each of those stitches. So a total of 4 single crochets. Just like that. And chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now into our divider stitches, 1 double crochet into each. And now we're going to do that again into our next square over here. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 single crochet into each stitch in the middle. So we're just jumping straight over and just doing 1 single crochet into each of these stitches. So there's 4 stitches, so we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 into each stitch. There's 2, 3, and 4, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you will do your 2 double crochets into your center stitches, your divider stitches, and then just pause the video and keep working along, repeating this until you get to the end of your row. At the end of your row, we're going to do a double crochet into the stitch and into the chain. So 2 double crochets at the end of the row, 1 into the stitch, and 1 into the chain, getting 2 strands of that chain on the top of your hook. And that finishes row 4. Row 5 is exactly the same as row 4. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and 1 double crochet into that second stitch. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1 single crochet into each stitch in the middle, so 4 single crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is our spider body, or the center of our box. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into our dividing stitches, 1 double crochet into each. So you can pause the video, keep repeating that, so doing a chain 5 and 1 single crochet into each of these stitches, so 4 single crochets in the middle, chaining 5 and 2 double crochets into your dividing stitches all the way along, and I'll meet you when you get to the end of your row. At the end of your row, 1 double crochet into the stitch, and 1 double crochet into your chain. And that finishes row 5. To start row 6, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to work into these stitches in the center, our 4 stitches. So there is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to do double crochet chain 1. So into the first stitch in the center, 1 double crochet, chain 1, into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1, into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and into the last stitch, 1 double crochet. Just want to take a look at your work and make sure you have 4 of those double crochets with a chain 1 in between, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Into our dividing stitches, always going to do 1 double crochet into each. So no matter what row we're on, we're always doing a double crochet. We're always doing a double crochet into our dividing stitches. So now you can pause the video, keep working along, doing your chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a double crochet chain 1 into each of those stitches. The last stitch just gets a double crochet. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So just a double crochet with a chain 1 in between, and then just make sure you have 4. So pause the video, keep working along, and I'll meet you when you get to the end of your row. At the end of your row, double crochet into the last real stitch, and double crochet into the chain. And that finishes row 6. For row 7, we are going to be doing our treble crochets at the top. So to start row 7, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. 1 double crochet into the second stitch, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now into each of our double crochets, so each of our stitches, not the chains, but we're going to work right into those stitches. The first one, we're going to do a treble crochet, so wrap your yarn, and into that first stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, and into that next stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, into the next stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, and into the next stitch, 1 treble crochet. So again, look at your work. Make sure you have 4 of these stitches, 4 treble crochets, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Into our dividing stitches, 1 double crochet into each, 1 and 2. And now we're just going to repeat that. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, into the first stitch, 1 treble crochet, so wrap your yarn twice, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, into the next stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn twice, into that next stitch, 1 treble crochet, chain 1, and into the next stitch, 1 treble crochet. So you can pause the video and repeat that all the way along this row, treble crochets with a chain 1 into our stitches and a chain 3 before and after our divider, all the way along, and I'll meet you at the end of our row. At the end of our row, 1 double crochet into the last stitch, and 1 double crochet into the chain. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that finishes row 7. To start row 8, we are going to be repeating our solid double crochets. So start the same way, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. 1 double crochet into the second stitch, 3 double crochets into the space, right where we put our chain 3, we're going to do our 3 double crochets. There's 2, here is 3, into the stitch, 1 double crochet, and into the space, 1 double crochet. So into the stitch, 1 double crochet, and into the space, 1 double crochet. So we're just making our stitch count just back into solid double crochets for this row. So if it's a stitch, we do a double crochet into the stitch. If it's a chain space, we do a double crochet into the space. So double crochet into the stitch, and into the space, we'll do 3 double crochets because it's a chain 3. So 3 double crochets into the space. When we get to our dividing stitches, 1 double crochet into each. Just like that. So you can pause the video and keep working along. Our spaces, our big spaces, the beginning and after, get 3 double crochets, and our stitches get a double crochet, and in between our stitches gets a double crochet. So 3 double crochets into the stitch, into the space, into the stitch, into the space, into the stitch, into the space, into the stitch, and then our 3 double crochets always into our dividing stitches. So pause the video, keep working along, and I'll meet you when you get to the end of this row. At the end of your row, we're going to go into our stitch with our double crochet, same as always, and into our chain, 1 double crochet. Just like that. So that finishes row 8, and that is our repeat. So now you can pause the video, keep working along, repeating rows 2 to 8 all the way along until your Web-A-Ween shawl is the size you want it to be. You want to always end on a row 8. So you want to end with a row of double crochets. So pause the video, make as many sets of these boxes as you would like, and I will meet you when it is the size you want it to be. So to start your border, we're just going to end on this row of double crochet. So we've finished our set and we've done our row of double crochet. Now we are ready to do our border. So now we're going to be working along the edge of our shawl where we did our chain 3 and double crochet either at the beginning or end of our rows. So we're going to work along here and make it look nice and tidy. So to start, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to go just into this stitch, just here, just into that post. You want to have 2 strands on the top of your hook. So just wrap your yarn, go into that stitch, and make 1 double crochet. And now we're going to go into the stitch right there, and we're going to go into the space. So into the space and into the stitch, into the space, and into the stitch. So that's what we're going to be doing all the way along the side. So the first one is right into that stitch, and the next into the space. Into the stitch, and to find your stitches, you just give it a pull, and you'll see that stitch right there open right up. So we're going to go into the stitch. So 1 double crochet into each. That's into the stitch, so now we're going to work into the space. Into the stitch, just right there. and into the space. So you can pause the video and keep working along the edge of your shawl. 1 double crochet into the stitch, and 1 double crochet into the space. So you can pause the video and keep working along, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. When you get to the end of your row, into your last stitch, your double crochet, and also into the space. I like to just go into this very last post, just that last stitch, just to kind of even it out a little bit. And now this very last space, this last stitch, this is the starting chain if you have done an even number of rows, but it will just be a regular stitch if you have done an odd number. So just work into that very last stitch, or right wherever that double crochet came from. We're going to put a double crochet on this side. So that finishes the first row of the border. Now we're going to do our windows. So to start your windows, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and turn your work. So this counts as a treble crochet and a chain 2. So we've already worked into this first stitch, so that one doesn't count. And then we're going to skip 3, and then we're going to skip 2 after that. So we're going to skip 1 and 2. We're going to work in to number 3 right there. So wrap your yarn twice. We're going to do a treble crochet into the third stitch. 1 treble crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2, wrap your yarn twice. We're going to skip 2, so skipping 1, skipping 2, working into the third right here, 1 treble crochet into the third. Chain 2, wrap your yarn twice and skip 2, 1, 2, working into the third, 1 treble crochet, chain 2, wrap your yarn twice, skip 2, and into the third, 1 treble crochet. And we're going to keep doing that all the way along the edge of our shawl, just making these windows right here. So chain 2, 1 and 2, wrap your yarn twice, skip 2, working into the third, 1 treble crochet, chain 2, wrap your yarn twice, skip 2, 1 and 2, into the third, 1 treble crochet. So you can pause the video and keep working along. That's what we're going to be doing the whole way along. So treble crochet, chain 2, skip 2, treble crochet all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. At the end of our row, we have 2 stitches left plus our chain. We're going to be working into the top of our chain. And what I like to do for this particular border is I want to go into that second stitch. So I want to go in right there. I'm not going to go into the top of the 3 because that can kind of not make it look as straight as we want it to look. So I'm going to go into that second chain just so the edge of our shawl is pulled nice and snug, and it'll help it look nice and straight. So wrap your yarn twice into that second chain, 1 treble crochet. There. See how that looks nice and straight? Because we kind of cheated, but that's all right. Now we're going to do 3 rows of double crochet. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. So this counts as our first double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets into the space and 1 into the stitch. 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Into the stitch, 1 double crochet, and into the space, 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Into the stitch, 1 double crochet, and into the space, 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. So you can pause the video and keep working along. 2 double crochets into the space and 1 double crochet into the stitch all the way along your shawl, all the way along the row, and I'll meet you when we get to our last space. At the end of your row, we're going to work into that last stitch with our double crochet and put our 2 into the space. So everything like usual. But now we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go into the 3rd chain because we also want it to be nice and snug on this side. So instead of going into the 4th, which would be what you're supposed to do for the height of a treble, we're going to go into the 3rd chain. We want 2 strands of that chain on the top of our hook to make your double crochet, and that will help your edge also stay nice and straight. Yeah, there we go. That's kind of cute. I think I should go into the 2nd. No. Okay. There, just like that. So now we're going to do 2 rows of double crochet, or as many as you like. I did 3 rows for my border, or the edge of my shawl. So to do your double crochet row, and you can repeat this as many times as you like. So to start the repeat of the, so to do your double crochet row, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work, and into the 2nd stitch, right there, into the 2nd stitch, 1 treble crochet. Ugh, oh my gosh. Now into this 2nd stitch, right here, we're going to do 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way along the row. Just like that. So you can pause the video and keep working along. 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way along, and I will meet you when you get to the end of your row. At the end of your row, just work into that last stitch, 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet into the chain. So same as we were doing for our shawl. Always working into that chain, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work. Now you can repeat this double crochet row for as wide as you want it to be, but if you're doing yours like mine, this is the last row. So we are going to do a little slip stitch into this 2nd back loop right here, because we want this end of this row to have a little bit of a point. So into this 2nd stitch, just slide that back loop onto your hook and slip stitch to have a little bit of a pointy bit. And now, same as we were doing before, skipping the 1st and into the 2nd, 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way along until we reach the end of this row. So pause the video, keep working along, 1 double crochet into each stitch, and I will meet you when we get to the end of this row. At the end of our row, now you can see how pointy this end is over here where we did that little slip stitch. Really helps it just finish it off in a very square way. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to work into that last stitch like we always do. And we're going to work into our chain. So just like usual, 1 double crochet into the chain to finish off the row, and chain 1. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. See how these ends, if I sewed in that tail, these ends would now be matching. Oh, cute like that. So that finishes off the one side. Now we're going to just turn our shawl around just like this, because our pretty stitches are here facing up. So we just rotate it, because we want our pretty stitches on both sides to be on the same side. And now we're going to start on this side, the very top of whatever stitch this is. So for me, it's a chain for this pattern here, but for my black one, because I did 5 rows, it was my actual starting chain. But just pop your hook in to the very beginning of your shawl and put a loop of your yarn on your hook. Bring it through, slip stitch with both strands to join. drop your tail and chain 2. 1 and 2. So now we're going to do the exact same thing as we did on the other side. The first stitch can just go straight on into this space. Just right there. And the next one is going to go into this stitch. Right there. So into the space and into the stitch. Now it's exactly like we did on the other side. So you can just go back and watch that again if you forget how to do it. So finish the border on this side, sew in your tails, and you're finished. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. I'm waiting for you in that video right there, and stay hooked.